Hi everyone, welcome to April 13th, Math 8. We are going to today look at the agenda for this, at least the next few days. What I'm going to ask you to do first of all is just review the websites. These websites I've shared with you in the last mailed out packet. They are also going to be mailed to you again in a second packet that you should be receiving within the next day or so. If you don't receive it, then please let me know. Some of the websites we're going to use for Math 8 will include SOL Pass and Jefferson Lab. I'll use both of those websites again if I want you to do some practice release questions for grade 8 math. I can also use Study Jams. That website also provides different tutorials, short tutorials along with quiz that follows each tutorial. iExcel, if you do not have your personal login, that is something you will definitely need to let me know. It was in the last mail out, but if you don't have that, please let me know and I'll let you know what your login information is. Also, BrainPop is new to this mail out along with ReadWorks. With BrainPop, the login for everyone is H Younger and the password is Rivermont1. And with BrainPop, if you're not familiar with it, I can assign different lessons in math, reading, science, history, and more. The resources that we'll use for our math will include Big Ideas, Math Online Textbook, Super Teacher Worksheets, BrainPop, Study Jams, PBS Learning Media, and more. So where we left off, if you remember again, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, we learned that Pythagoras was a Greek mathematician and philosopher who discovered one of the most famous rules in mathematics. In mathematics, a rule is called a theorem. So the rule that he discovered is called the Pythagorean theorem. So what hopefully you remember from when we left off was that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I want to use this this week as review. Let me show you a couple of different clips. This first clip is from PBS Learning.
Hi, my name is Shribos, and today we're going to be learning about the Pythagorean theorem. Now, the Pythagorean theorem is a formula which allows us to find the sides of a right triangle. And to do this, let's start off with the right triangle. Now, our right triangle has a 90-degree angle and 3 different sides. So if we look at our right triangle, the side opposite the right angle here is known as the hypotenuse, and it's always the longest side of this triangle. The other 2 sides, which make up the 90-degree angle, are known as the legs. Now, if we were to start off by building a square off of each one of the sides of this triangle, we would have 3 different squares. So what's interesting about these squares is the sum of the areas of the 2 squares built off of the 2 legs is actually equal to the area of the square built off of the hypotenuse. So on our triangle, let's call this first leg A, and this second leg B, and this hypotenuse C. So since we know that to find the area of a square, we can take the length of one side and multiply it by itself, the square that we built off of side A has an area of A squared. The square that we built off of side B has an area of B squared. And the square that we built off of the hypotenuse has an area of C squared. And since we've just showed that the sum of A squared plus B squared is equal to the square of the hypotenuse, this will give us the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
All right, I'm going to show you a second clip.
In 18th century France, engineer Jean Perronnet designed human-powered cranes for use in heavy construction. One such crane, used to build a stone bridge in Orléans, France, was recently recreated as part of a multi-college effort to gain a deeper understanding of the history, technology, and culture of the time. The Pythagorean theorem was used to calculate several critical parts of the crane.
It might appear that this crane is just, it's kind of slapped together. You just put some braces in here and you put a post up. But actually the measurements are very precise and very accurate. So in creating this strut here, we measure from this point right where the joint hits. We bring the measurement into the reference point on the center of this log, and then we have to measure up to the top of that joint. And then we can by using those measurements, we can, and the Pythagorean theorem, we can accurately find the length of the strut. Because the crane has a very high center of gravity, it's very important that when the weight comes down the grate post, that you have a wide footing. And so the weight comes down the post, and at the joint, it spreads down these struts into this base. And what's really important to notice is that the grate post is actually lifted off the base, and that it doesn't contact it, that no weight comes down the grate post to the base right here. And the reason is so that you can visually see where the forces are going, and the forces are being distributed outward as opposed to directly downward.
Right here?
The idea was that we would have students from different disciplines who would come together to do this investigation of the crane. They started the research, started gathering images, and also doing drawings and models, and becoming more and more informed about the human-powered crane. We had students from 3 institutions, and at sometimes as many as 30 or 40 of students here.
Easy does it, people. Easy does it.
We knew we had to have experts helping us build this because it was just because of the scope of the project. So we worked with members of the Timber Framers Guild, and this is a group of people that are dedicated to history, tradition, and education.
All right, let's give it a little more. Stop.
The crane is constructed with what we call a grate post. This is the largest element. It's 16 inches by 16 inches by 27 feet. Most of the forces are going to come down through the grate post and then off into the struts. Okay, so then on top of the grate post is the lifting arm, and it's, in this case, it's about 43 feet long. And then on the back of the lifting arm is a large wheel. And in all human-powered cranes, this was designed so humans can get inside and be the engine that turns the wheel. There's no other way you can understand what it meant to build an object like this unless you actually did it. I mean, the sheer physicality of putting this thing together, it just cannot be known without actually doing this. It gives you a really good understanding of what the designers and builders were doing at that time.
So today I'm going to have you practice solving for side C, also known as a hypotenuse. So I'm going to show you this next tutorial.
Find the length of the hypotenuse of the triangle. First, notice we have the symbol for a right angle. That means that this is a right triangle. So our variable C is the hypotenuse because it is the side opposite of the right angle. The side that is 3 inches and the side that is 4 inches are the legs of the triangle because they form the right angle. So to find the hypotenuse C, we will use the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem states that the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs, which our legs will be A and B, is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse, which we said the hypotenuse is C. So what we'll do is substitute in the lengths of the legs, 3 inches and 4 inches, in for A and B. So we'll have A is 3 squared plus B 4 squared is equal to the hypotenuse C squared. So now let's begin to simplify. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9, plus 4 squared, 4 times 4, is 16, and that's equal to C squared. 9 plus 16 is 25,
and that's equal to c squared. Now, to get c by itself, what we'll do is take the square root of each side. So we take the square root of c squared and the square root of 25. So this gives us c, and what number multiplied by itself gives us 25? The answer is 5. So we found that c is equal to 5. So the length of our hypotenuse is 5 inches.
So hopefully that was helpful again for you to review for the hypotenuse. Let me show you IXL here. And again, if you have any questions on how to log into IXL, please let me know. Please go to grade 8 math, go to letter R, and I'm going to ask you to practice number 1 where it says finding the length of the hypotenuse. So again, remember, we're looking at a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and you are going to practice solving for the hypotenuse, which is also side C. I'm going to ask for you also to take a look at the lesson plan that I sent you, if that is helpful, to look at what I would like you to do each day. Over the next couple of days, there are practice worksheets that you'll be receiving in your packet that will help you practice for finding the hypotenuse. Also, I'm going to ask you to practice on IXL. And remember, if you have any questions, please, again, have your parents email me. They can email me a question, or they can have me call them if they need that, or if you need that. So again, I wish you the best of luck as you practice. Just try your best, and I will be in touch with you soon.